Howdy, 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 folks, and welcome to episode 76 of the Shadow Cult podcast. And the whole gang's here for this week. Myself, Scott, Walter, and James. Yay, Walter's back! Maybe for good!
Yeah.
Yay! Somebody don't want to save! I'm getting out of here!
I appreciate you meet me here. You understand why I can't talk to you? Okay. Kermit the Frog? What's his appeal?
Oh my god. But yes, the gang's all here for this week.
So disappointing, isn't it? Which is the point of the show!
The theme of tonight's show is disappointment.
Yep.
And
What is it Kevin Sorbo says in Hercules? Disappointed!
Or on Metalocalypse, Pickles. Hey Fatso, we got you your favorite thing. Disappointment. I guess I'll just start my side band, Planet Piss.
doesn't Kevin Kline say that in A Fish Called Wanda? Disappointed!
He does. Wow.
I think he says it does.
I feel like watching
Don't worry, son.
There you
I'm
go.
not angry. I'm just disappointed. Now go mow the fucking lawn. Can you tell we're disappointed here, people?
Yes, totally disappointed. Because you're disappointed, aren't you? You're watching this shit.
Instead of watching Full Gear, you're watching this
Yeah,
shit
sorry
show.
about that.
This is
Yeah.
better, though.
Totally better than full.
Yeah.
I got a friend messaging me like blow up.
You're going to get the updates
As
Yeah.
we're going
as we
on.
go. Live.
Omega squashes Hangman in 4 seconds.
Ah.
Oh my god!
You know what's going to happen though? Omega wins. The AEW stands on immediately talk about how it makes sense, even though they were saying for weeks out that Page has got to win.
Yeah, watch
Well,
that be the
well,
case.
Hangman kicked out of Omega's finisher, so that he's kept strong.
Yeah, just like the demograph. Just like the demograph.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so
Anyway.
yeah, the topic for this week. So last week we did top 10 Survivor Series main events. This week, just like we did with SummerSlam, top 10 Survivor Series disappointments. Now, to preface, just like with the SummerSlam episode, these matches, depending on which one, aren't necessarily bad. Just we had a certain expectation and it was a letdown, or on paper it looks like a good match and it turns into but
Well,
Yeah.
also, it's not necessarily just matches. It could be moments that happened or
I was gonna
whatever.
say, I'm like, because I don't have all entirely matches on here.
Same here.
well, I got all matches, so
Mine are mostly matches too. A big thing with mine is just a misdirection with talent. That's a big thing with mine.
well, with all that said, and real quick, Arthur Jones in the chat saying, like I said, y'all hate AEW.
No, we don't.
We don't
We
hate
just-
AEW.
We just
We
hate their
the
fans.
overzealous fans. We can't stand them. Okay, they're the fucking idiots we don't like that need to go away.
They're obsessed with AEW killing off WWE.
Yes.
First off, promotions do not kill each other off. Promotions kill themselves off. So, and second off, AEW's got a pretty good shot killing themselves off.
And the toxic fandom of AEW is the worst we have ever seen of any promotion in any time frame. Worse than ECW fans in the mid to late 90s.
I will say this: please, somebody defend Dan Lambert power bombing Chris Jericho through a table and then putting him in the walls of Jericho and Jericho selling it. Please, somebody defend that. Someone speak up for it. Tell me how it was a good segment. I would rather watch Reggie and Drake Maverick wrestle in a 60-minute Iron Man match.
At least that'll be entertaining.
That probably would be pretty good. I'd watch a 60-minute
That'd be-
Iron Man 24/7 gauntlet match.
I don't know, is that segment versus Reggie and Drake Maverick, to me that'd be choosing between baby shit or dog shit.
After, if you've seen the Dan Lambert segment, you would watch that segment.
You know what I'm talking about, and you would go with the Drake Reggie match. Trust me.
Yeah, trust me.
More likely, probably. But anyways,
they need to have. They could have a
top team, and Matt Hardy versus Orange Cassidy, the two stupidest things going in wrestling right now. Yeah.
They could have Drake Maverick versus Reggie in a 60-minute Iron Man match that just goes out throughout the show. It starts in the ring. It goes in the back. We cut to it later on. Then they're traveling. It's like when Crash Holly had the title was the Hardcore title 24/7, taking it to like the kids' playground and shit. Just do that stuff. That'd be way more entertaining than seeing a 50-year-old fat fuck going through a goddamn table.
So much for Orange Cassidy being elevated by Jericho.
Yeah.
Well, how did he elevate him? He threw him into a vat of orange juice. That's not
It's entertainment.
Yeah. Sports entertainment. So that's pro wrestling, though. By the way.
That's pro wrestling now, folks.
Pro wrestling is sports entertainment. Fight me.
Yep.
Been saying that forever. But anyways, we digress here a lot.
Yes.
Survivor Series disappointments.
So let's begin with honorable mentions. So I have 4 honorable mentions on my list. First, on paper, and given what happened the prior pay-per-view before this show, this should have been a physical fucking fight, and it turned into Batista Rey Mysterio 2009. Given what happened the month prior at Bragging Rights with the classic heel turn of Batista, "You're supposed to be my friend!" This should have been a vicious fucking fight, and instead it was just 6 minutes of a squash, essentially. But it is what it is. It wasn't bad, it just was there. Speaking of Batista, next on my honorable mention, Team Orton versus Team Batista from 2008. Given the guys you had in that match, that sounds like it should have been a really damn good one, and it was just okay at best, looking back. This match I was looking forward to big time when I was 9 when this match happened. Kane versus Shane McMahon in the ambulance match from 2003. Because they had a really good last man standing match at Unforgiven 2 months prior, and we're getting an ambulance match, and you're thinking, we're going to see crazier shit. And we really did not. So, yeah, one of the more underwhelming matches of that show. And then my final one, I think one of you guys had this in the main events list. I look back on it, and it's like, these two had better matches before and after. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H from 2000. Like, it was still a good match, but when you think Austin, Triple H, should have been fantastic. But it's like, and I'll go more in depth about another match that's on the actual list. It's like, you go from great matches to just a good match. It's like, I love their great matches. Why would I want to watch a good match?
In defense of that match, it worked for the story they were telling. Austin wanted to kill Triple H, and that's exactly what happened. That's why I will always defend that match.
James?
I have no honorable mentions.
Shocker. Walter?
I don't really have any either. Maybe
Scott?
One. Actually, maybe one. I got one that will probably... The reason why it's honorable mention is because the finish was good. Bret Hart and Bob Backlund from, what was that,
94.
94. The finish was fantastic, mainly because of Owen, but it's a 30-minute match, and it drags out, and it's boring. You expect a little more out of Backlund and Bret in terms of that. Great finish, though, hence why it's honorable.
Scott?
Well, I had one, but actually I'm going through my list right now, and I'm changing it as I go, so the one that became honorable mention is not even worth mentioning, so fuck it.
Okay. Well, I guess I was the only one to provide some
HM love.
So, yeah. So, moving on to the actual 10. Me beginning at number 10. Now, this one's on the list for obvious reasons, given what was supposed to happen. And we all know the story about why it turned into what it became. The Hart family versus Shawn Michaels and his Knights from 1993. Given the fact that it was supposed to have been the end of the Hart-Lawler feud, but with all the stuff Lawler was going through at the time, obviously plans change, and we get Shawn Michaels. And yeah, the only thing involving with Shawn and the Hart family prior was Shawn calling out Stu. That was it. And then the match itself happens. 30 minutes for this match, and it wasn't even that good either. It was average. An average match at best. And the only notable thing about this match was the beginning of Owen's heel turn. That was really it. James?
My number 10 also happened in 1993, but it's something completely different. My number 10, for Doinks? For context, they are advertising 4 Doinks to face Bam Bam's team, and we ended up with no Doinks. We ended up with Men on a Mission and the Bushwhackers. The fans wanted the real Doink, and we didn't get anything. Really, what it should have been was...
We had a promo on the Titantron.
Yeah, that was it. And it wasn't... Because Bourne was fired by this point,
I think it was actually Steve Kern in makeup, too.
But it's like, you could have had 4 actual Doinks and tell an interesting story with it, but instead they went with slapstick comedy. And the fans wanted the actual Doink.
Imagine that.
Because you gotta remember, in 1993, Doink the Clown was one of the more over characters in the company, if you can believe it or not.
True.
There was a time where he was treated very serious, and then he became one of the things people look at as like, oh, that's what's wrong with pro wrestling during this era.
The idea of him having the world title when he was a heel was tossed around. Let's just say that. A possible main event for WrestleMania 11, I think it was, or was it 10? I think it was 10. Was Doink versus Brett for the title, with the circus, with WrestleMania having a whole circus theme around it. It was just an idea that was tossed around. That was never really concrete.
I would have loved a Doink Undertaker feud.
Yeah, when Doink was
Batman and the Joker.
Oh my god, yeah, exactly.
Batman and the Joker.
That's right.
Doink probably could have been the Fiend or Bray Wyatt of his time.
Of his time, exactly. I was just thinking that too.
Because Matt Bourne was fucking great.
He was.
As Doink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they stuck with Matt Bourne, but Bourne had his demons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my number 10.
Walter?
My number 10 is the 1990 Ultimate Survival main event. Great
I
idea,
thought about putting that on the list.
Great idea put on paper. When they actually did it, it was kind of it was just like an extra. It was like a dark show. It was a dark show main event. If you think, or a house show main event, if you think about it.
And not to mention the babyface team of Hogan, Warrior, and Tito Santana.
Somebody had to take the fall.
Right. Yeah.
That was the thing. It was like Hogan and Warrior are still friends, you know. So, and that was the match itself. There was like no sense of like trouble or anything at all for the babyface team. It was Tito became the sacrificial lamb, and Hogan and Warrior cleaned house. There was a lot of things they could have done with it. They probably could have, built a few more stories or angles about it. But like I said, it felt like a house show main event.
Scott?
My number 10 is from Survivor Series 1996. It's the 4-on-4 elimination match where 2 eliminations happen and then everybody gets DQ'd. Let's just get everybody out in the whole big mess there. I don't know if they booked themselves into a corner or nobody wanted to do the job or whatever, but you just basically take out everybody in the freaking match in one fell swoop with one big DQ from the big brawl. And it's like, this is what you come up with here. I know we're going to Sean Sid and all that stuff, and everything's going to be great, but that's what you do for the elimination match on Survivor Series. Just take everybody out.
That was the debut of Flash Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That was the return of Snuka after he was inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Two Gold Scorpio. They bring in Two Gold Scorpio finally. He's come off a hot run in ECW.
I think the eliminations were Savio Vega and Razor.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then everybody gets here.
Diesel, and everything. This was Yokozuna's last match in the WWF.
And Cornette on commentary.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Cornette. Who brought this guy in? Who brought this guy in? Where
So,
did he
yeah.
come from?
Because as you'll see, a lot of my decisions are bad decisions with talent. Not just the match itself, but it's that.
Vader went from potentially main eventing this show to this crap.
Yeah. Thank you, Sean.
That's why I said, put themselves in the corner. Just kind of throw everybody in that one match and then get rid of everybody in one shot. So, waste of time, waste of opportunity. So that's my number 10, man.
Now on to number 9, and we talked about this match briefly last week after we did the list and we were talking about like worst main events. This one, not necessarily an awful match, but just why Chris Jericho, John Cena for the World Heavyweight title in 2008. I get, you're bringing Cena back where Cena was estimated to be out for about 4 to 5 months. And he's back in like 2 or 3, because this was after he herniated his disc in the match with Batista at SummerSlam. And on paper, this should have been a great match, especially given that Jericho was white hot as a heel at this time. But then you undercut that by having the returning Cena win. This should have been the start of a long-term program between these two, and instead it just... James?
My number 9 is the men's Team Raw versus Team SmackDown match from 2017. The talent involved in that match should have been one of the better traditional elimination matches of all time, and it just turned into drama between Kurt and Triple H, and Braun was a survivor for whatever reason. He didn't really matter. And yeah, you brought Cena back to have him eliminated like 3rd or whatever it was, and is just...
I did find that. I found that awkward. That was like really weird.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Walter?
My number 9 is not a match in itself, but the usage of again, I do not have entirely matches. I have a lot of just disappointing things, use bookings, uses of talent, et cetera. And it starts with here. Number 9 is, and this is how I felt as a little kid, and it bothered me and bummed me out. I mean, I'm a little different as a just a little more smartened up. But it was the usage of the elimination of the Blue Blazer in the 1988 Survivor Series match with Team Beefcake and Warrior versus Team Honky and Ron Bass. Blue Blazer, a.k.a. Owen Hart, came in. High flyer with a mask, very appealing, a lot of exciting things. One, he barely did any of his stuff, any of his backflips or anything like that, let alone he didn't eliminate anyone. And 2, he was shortly eliminated at the beginning of the match by Greg the Hammer Valentine with a figure 4 leg lock. I figured they could have highlighted the Blazer a little more in the match. Maybe eliminated something like Danny Davis. I don't know, but Blazer really got barely anything in that match, and it could have created some exciting stuff because Owen at that time was very high flying, very flippity dippity. He came right off of a stint in New Japan, coming from a program with Jushin Liger, and came to the WWF to be the Blue Blazer. As a little kid, I thought it was amazing. I thought he was cool. I was about 9 years old. And it was a pretty underwhelming. I'm like, all right, Blue Blazers in the ring. Valentine's just eliminated. So, yeah.
Scott?
My number 9 is Survivor Series 1991 6-man elimination main event. And we've talked about that ad nauseum previously. Just the fact we go from 5 to 4 and all this down to 3. It's like you couldn't find extra guys and just what the fuck.
Not to mention what was originally supposed to happen with this match. What was
originally supposed to happen? They don't have replacements, and we know it's diminishing returns on the elimination style matches happening at this pay-per-view because we know what happens a year later. So yeah, that match in and of itself is just bad, disappointing for a main event. That's it. So
yeah,
that's my number 9.
Yeah, because originally, Team Jake versus Team Sid was the original plan, and then when Sid got hurt, it should have been Team Jake versus Team Savage, but we don't want Savage to return on this night. We have to wait until pay-per-view 6 days later.
Yeah, it was Sid. Yeah, it was supposed to be Sid, LOD, and Boss Man against Jake, IRS, and Natural Disasters.
And then we got that pile of shit.
All
right.
I kept thinking. I swore Savage was going to get in there.
All right.
For my number 8, we talked about this match briefly also last week when talking about possible disappointments that might show up. Well, it is on my list. Number 8, Shayna Baszler, Becky Lynch, and Bayley from 2019. Yeah, this match, whatever. Honestly, I mean,
just a bad match. It's
just a mess of a match.
It's hard to book 3 ways. It is.
It is. Oh, trust me, I know.
Yeah, that's really all I got to say about it. James,
That's what I got to say about that.
My number 8 is Wade Barrett not winning the WWE Championship in 2010. They could have undone a lot of wrongs by putting the belt on Barrett here. And hey, look, if it doesn't work, you could always take the belt off of him, put it on Cena, or use The Miz as a cash-in, because he was the Money in the Bank, and he would cash it in the night after. But I always felt that Wade should have won the belt here, and doesn't have to be a long reign, but could have undone a lot of wrongs by putting the belt on him right here.
Walter?
My number 8 is Levi's number 10. The Hearts versus the Kingdom's Knights. Yeah, what else more to say that besides other than the fact, how do you get Terry Funk and your idea of using him is to put him in this match?
Got a sick horse at home and I can't make it.
Yeah. I mean, we got Terry Funk. Let's throw a mask on him. Who was it? It was Jeff Gaylord, Greg Valentine, and Barry Horowitz, correct?
Yep, I think you're right.
Yep.
Yeah, it was those 3. But yeah, that's nothing else more can be said. And yeah, like Levi said, it was to help further build the stages for Brett Nolan, but it was just so drawn out and boring. And the other it was Bruce Hart and Keith Hart, and those 2 barely did anything in the match either.
Bruce wanted to do everything until Shawn said, look, if my brother was the world champion, I'd shut the fuck up. And Brett agreed with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird to think. Brett and Shawn agreeing on something back then? Well, then again, this was before their heat started, and they were kind of friends, so... Yeah, I guess that shouldn't shock me.
But still,
much.
typically you take the side of your family unless it's this situation where it's like, yeah, Bruce, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But when it applies to Bruce Hart, I think I can understand.
That seems to be such a refrain with that family and everybody in the business. Like, all right, Bruce, shut up.
There was Teddy, there was Bruce.
Hey, Terry, you want to talk about a jackass? I raised a jackass named Bruce. I had to call back to that classic joke, Walter. Scott?
My number 8, once again, disappointing. The potential was there, but they did it wrong. And it was 2003, Triple H versus Goldberg. What could have been as opposed to what it was. You know, I know Triple H, you want to be the king. You want to show you can have great matches with everybody, but Goldberg has a specific type of match, and you can't get away from that.
And not to mention, you're still hurt from a groin injury.
Yep. It's this, you know, and
any Goldberg match that starts with a lockup usually ends bad, except for the DDP match from Halloween Havoc.
Yeah. I mean, just again, wrong way to go with talent again. Disappointment, obviously. And again, the main event. They should have thought differently about that. But you know, Triple H was in his run there, so he's got to have his match. So. Sorry, Bill, this is what you have to deal with. And just flops.
Yeah. For my number 7, it was James's number 9, I believe. Team Raw versus 9. Team SmackDown from 2017. Yeah, the fucking talent you have in this match. And it's just more Triple H Kurt Angle drama and not about everybody else. Not to mention the fucking finish. One of the dumbest finishes I have ever seen in wrestling. Triple H pedigrees Kurt, to get his own teammate eliminated and then get the win for himself. Huh?
And then Braun made Triple H piss himself afterward.
Yeah, because that will always be my favorite part of the whole thing. Braun getting in Triple H's face, and Triple H looks like he's about to cry. Like, ah! Anyways, James.
My number 7 is Brock Lesnar losing the WWE Championship in 2002. Like, you build him up that much, you give him the title at SummerSlam, you put him over The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell, and then you have him lose the belt in 4 minutes to The Big Show. Yes, they were turning him babyface, and yeah, it worked out in the end at WrestleMania with him winning it, but then what about his babyface run as champion? It flopped to the point where they had to turn him back heel. You know, yeah, Brock wasn't going to be champion forever, but to take the belt off of him here, it was just dumb. I was pissed when Brock lost, especially in 4 minutes. Like, ugh. It was a fun match, but what the fuck?
That's gonna be the big refrain here. What the fuck?
I know it's slightly off topic, but Scott, you were at WrestleMania 18, correct? And you saw Brock do a match at the Access, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep. With
who would have thought that guy was going to be main eventing WrestleMania that following year?
Uh-huh.
We obviously knew he was going to be a star, but that quick.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Smashed over.
Walter?
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, my number 7 is not a match or an elimination, or actually even something that happened directly on a Survivor Series. It's actually a fallout from a Survivor Series, a follow-up. The year would be 1996, and the follow-up, the disappointing thing would be the what led up afterwards with the tag team of Doug Furnas and Phil LaFon.
Oh yeah.
Popular tag team had a hell of a run in Japan, hell of a run as the Can-Am Express. They come on board. Not only they win their elimination match, they beat the tag team champions at the time, Davey Boy and Owen, to win their Survivor Series match. And then after that, just nothing. Then no fall. I mean, I think they worked Davey Boy and Owen the following week on Raw and maybe some house shows with throwaway finish and DQs and stuff, but nothing to get them go. And the thing is, they weren't doing anything wrong. They were doing everything they did that got themselves over. Furnas with the power slams, the awesome drop kick, and the Frankensteiner. LaFon with all the technical wrestling and high flying he was doing. They were still fun to watch. But nothing came of it. And you thought that something was going to come out of it after Survivor Series. And then by the time you thought, they did the Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania to open the show. And then they both got injured. I think there was that car accident. And after that, it was nothing. So yeah, that's my number 7. The fallout of the disappointing run of Doug Furnas and Philip LaFon.
Well, hell, you look at the following year at the Survivor Series, they were on a team with the Bulldog. They were on Team Canada.
That's right, yeah, and they were just cannon fodder. They were just there to get eliminated.
And hell, to even add to that, it's like,
and they were heels, unexplained. They were heels.
The month after that Survivor Series in '96, who got the tag title shot? Fake Diesel and Fake Razor.
That's right.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, they did win the ECW titles. I know that later on when the ECW and WWF were doing the trade.
They were in that talent exchange thing, yeah.
I think they beat like Storm and Candido, and then Storm and Candido got it back like a day or two later, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I seriously thought, especially after Survivor Series, those guys are going to win the tag belts at WrestleMania. That's what I thought. But no, we got Mankind and Vader versus Owen and Bulldog.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Scott?
My number 7 is the first one on my list that's not a match. It's part of a match, and that is Survivor Series 2019, when not our Walter, but the Walter lasts less than 3 freaking minutes in the elimination tag match.
Oh, you
Arthur, freaking kidding me?
Arthur from the Horseman podcast would 100% agree with you.
I can imagine.
And you know what? I would too.
I mean, I know Walter has gone on record as stating that he was checked out of this match. He didn't care, but We did. We fucking cared. We thought this was got like the next big freaking star to match up with Brock or any other big name like that. And he's in the match, like I said, less than 3 freaking minutes. That's how much they gave a shit about his potential.
My exact reaction was motherfucker.
There's no better reaction than that. That's a perfect reaction. I thought, motherfucker is right.
I wonder how Cornette reacted to that.
Oh, he probably blew his freaking head off.
That's the stupidest fucking idea I ever saw.
Yeah.
Gosh, let's make it look fucking weak, motherfuckers.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Less than 3 freaking minutes for Raw.
He just
meanwhile, this past year he's had 2 matches with Dragunov that brought tears to my freaking eyes. So it's like
actually every match he's had this year, he's only had a few.
Yeah,
the one with Ciampa. He had one with what's his name, Rampage. Another British guy. It was a good match though. And the 2 matches with Dragunov were amazing. Yeah. And he's having some. He's had some. Him and Cesaro are on the SmackDown tour, and from what I gather, they had some pretty decent matches.
Yeah, it's just a question of whether he's going to move here or not. Who knows?
Yep.
So now for number 6, this one. It's a case of more of the finish than anything else. Team Flair, Team Piper from 1991. The match itself, really fucking good. Really fucking good match. Best match of this terrible Survivor Series by a landslide. But the finish, because you have a bunch of guys brawl, and Flair's the only one not brawling, Flair wins the match.
Yep. Mm-hmm. By count out, wasn't it? Was it $100 or something, or just thrown out? And because Flair was the only one in the ring, he won.
Yeah,
that was the logic. Yeah. Levi's
Levi?
Somebody hit the refresh. F5 him. I don't mean this F5. I mean F5 refresh.
You were going to say James?
No, I was just
trying to wake you up.
Yep.
All right. You're in number 6 then.
My number 6 is the handling of the WWE Championship Tournament from 2015. That entire show should have been the tournament. You could have had the Final 8. Yes, the Undertaker 25 stuff. Still do that. But have the Final 8 of the tournament on the show. Instead, you just do the Final 4 and a bunch of other matches that don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because once Seth got that injury and he had to vacate the belt and they were going to do the tournament, the entire card for Survivor Series should have been scrapped and it should have just been the Final 8. 7 matches plus the Undertaker, Kane versus Wyatt family stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been a much better card.
Yeah. Walter?
My number 6 was in Scott's, and that was the Survivor Series 91, the final match. With Sid, with Boss Man and LOD against IRS and Earthquake. Honestly, if it came to that, I would have just ended the show after Taker and Hogan, and then saved that match, make that a dark house show main event, and aired it the next night on Primetime Wrestling.
Yeah.
Just as a filler, I would have just cut it off there because not only with all the absentees and the changes to the main event and such, and then knocking it down to 3-on-3, it just sucked too. It was just a shitty match. So that is my number 6.
Scott?
My number 6 has already been mentioned, I think, by you, Levi, and James. That's 2017, the Elimination Tag match. All this new talent being brought into the company, and they're all not even focused. I think it was Shinsuke, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, and Finn Balor all in this match, and all of them get eliminated by established guys. It was a big opportunity to at least take one of them and make them that night. You could have made Joe, you could have made Balor, you could have made Shinsuke, you could have made Roode in this one match, and they chose not to do that. Big waste of an opportunity. Major disappointment for all the NXT fans that were so happy to see them on the main show in this big focus match, and they're all just cast aside like that. Big disappointment.
Who won that match? Was it Orton?
Team Raw.
Team Raw. It was
Triple H and Braun.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Orton Bray, that was the year before.
Yeah, Triple H and Bray. Yeah, well, didn't Bray power slam Triple H at the end?
Yeah, Braun did.
Or Braun did, excuse me, yeah.
Yeah. Well, now on to the top 5. And starting with number 5 into number 4, I'll get there when I get there. The first of 2 straight matches from 2006. First, Team DX versus Team Rated RKO. Because, again, the talent you have on Team RKO, you had Edge, Orton, Eminem, and Gregory Helms. And on DX, you got Triple H, Shawn, the Hardys, and CM Punk. On paper, this should have been the best match on the card.
And it was a squash. It was about...
And it was an absolute squash.
Four Joints versus Bam Bam's team.
Exactly. And also, this ended the streak of Orton being the sole survivor, because he was the last one left for RKO, and he got his shit pushed in, which... It was probably still leftover punishment for all the dumb shit he did that year and the suspensions and stuff. It was probably like, well, Orton, I hate to tell you, but your streak is over, damn it. But there was some redemption in the comedy with Shawn, like in the beginning of the match, he and Nitro back and forth Irish whipping. He slides on the ring, and he's holding Melina. Melina thinks it's Nitro, and they look, oh! I thought that was pretty funny. And then before the match when DX do their shtick with Punk, I thought that was cool. But aside from that, this match was just average. And on top of that, a complete and utter squash. Should have been a fantastic competitive match, but it wasn't. James?
My number 5 is the triple threat and bait and switch from 1999. Because you had the biggest match you could have possibly done at that point, and you advertised it that it was going to happen, even though you knew Austin wasn't going to wrestle. And you knew pretty much from the start of the month that was going to happen. And you replace Austin with Big Show and do all that stuff. And I mean, yeah, it's one of Big Show's crowning moments in the company. Man. What he did in the elimination match earlier in the night, and then here to end the night winning the world title. Great moment for him, but just shitty move.
Yeah,
shitty fucking move, bait and switching everybody. And we never got to see that match. Rock, Triple H, and Austin in a triple threat.
No. Never did.
No.
Walter?
Number 5, Scott already mentioned, going back to once again, Survivor Series 91. Oh no, Levi mentioned this, I'm sorry. Team Piper versus Team Flair, the finish. Bucket. Oh my God. The house show main event sucked. But talk about taking a what could be a pretty fun Survivor Series match and throwing it all away. I mean, shit. What they could have done was, they could have done honestly, I think they could have done the Honky Tonk Man finish where all that was left was Flair with I would say like maybe Piper and Steamboat and Kerry Von Erich, 3 guys who all feuded with Flair, one time or another in the past. And Flair says, "Fuck this," and just leaves, gets counted out.
Could have done that.
I mean, having Flair win did absolutely nothing because it was such a fluky, stupid win.
I think the only reason they did that was because they wanted to keep Flair strong by having him win his first pay-per-view match.
Right. He didn't even really win. He was laying in the ring.
Well, he was declared the sole survivor, so guess what?
The referee has but one man. I'm like, how does this happen?
Oh, Jesus. Scott?
Wrestling Recession. My number 5. My number 5, I think from what you just said, Levi, it might be your number 4. Because my number 5 is Survivor Series 2006 King Booker versus Batista.
That was bad.
That's my number 4.
That's right. I won't ramble on about it. I want to hear your thoughts on it too. But yeah, oh my God. What could have been and what was. These guys don't have the chemistry. When was their argument? When was their fight backstage?
That was around like this time, spring. That was like late spring.
It was during the SummerSlam shoot.
That was SummerSlam. Okay. So they had to shoot at the shoot. Gotcha. And so it's like, no, oil and water doesn't work. Not going to work. Doesn't have good
crazy
chemistry.
that
Just
Booker finally becomes a world champion in WWE, and it's such a bad run.
And it ended like that. Yeah, it's like my thought with the match and why it was number 4 is given the heat these two had with the SummerSlam shoot. I mean, granted, with Booker winning the fight, that was what got him the title because they're like, wow, you actually could take Batista? You know what? Let's give you a world title run like we should have gotten for you like 3 years ago. And he did the best he could with the King gimmick. I honestly think out of all the King of the Ring winners, Booker was one of the best to pull off the King gimmick.
Oh, yeah, he was.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
But the match itself... If I was to have been in charge of booking this match, I would have made this like a no-holds-barred, and it would have been much better. But instead, it's just a normal fucking match. Yeah, given the history with these two, this should not have been a normal match. Should have been a fight, and it was just a bad main event. Yeah, like going back to what we were talking about at the end of last week with what would be some of the bad main events. This would no doubt be among those worst main events in Survivor Series history.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's my number 4. James?
My number 4 is WWE sticking with the Raw versus SmackDown concept. It worked in 2016, it worked in 2017, it hasn't worked since.
No.
Just fucking end it already.
Just end it and go back. Either make it a regular pay-per-view again, or make it the way it was with nothing but traditional matches.
Yes, that's what I would do.
And make them make sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or make them, instead of brand against brand, just make them brand specific. Here's your SmackDown elimination tag match. Here's your Raw elimination tag match. Here's your NXT elimination tag match. Here's your NXT UK elimination tag match.
And your women's elimination
and
match.
A women's and a title match, or 2 title matches. You're done. There you go.
Yeah.
Do that instead.
Yeah, that, or like we talked about actually last week, the mid-card guys, tag guys, women, and the main eventers.
Yep.
That's why 87 is still one of the best Survivor Series ever.
Yep.
Still holds up after all these years.
You started off with the mid-card feud that everyone cares about, Savage and Honky Tonk Man. You give them the women's one and introduce the world to the Jumping Bomb Angels. That match got them over huge.
And then the tag team, the nice 5 teams.
With 20 guys. Mind you. Pat Patterson's all over that match, you can tell. And then you got the
Hogan Andre.
Yep. And they sort of did it again the following year, same way, because they had co-captains.
Yeah. Right. Walter?
Number 4, right?
Number 4.
Yep.
No, my number 4 is Walter's elimination in 2019. Fucking bullshit. Minutes into the match, he gets fucking knocked out cold by Drew McIntyre and pinned. I thought he was going to kick out. I even said it would happen. Oh, he's going to kick out of this, man. Watch. And then kill everyone. Nope.
Gone.
You take one of the strongest, most dangerous guys, probably the most dangerous presence next to Brock Lesnar in the company, and just waste him away so quick.
Yep.
Thankfully, it wasn't a bad match. Thankfully, we got a really good exchange between Keith Lee and Roman Reigns in the end to make up. But fuck, what a disappointment at the end.
Huge.
Scott?
My number 4, I'm going to guess Walter's going to have this on his list, because mine is from Survivor Series 1995 with the women's elimination match. We have the first women's tag team elimination match since the first pay-per-view of Survivor Series. And with this match, you get 10 minutes.
AJPW.
You get 10 minutes overall for this match. You have a huge opportunity to feature some great female talent, feature great female Japanese talent, and I understand it was 95. I know it was tough just to get women's wrestling in general on television, let alone a pay-per-view. But here you had a big opportunity to reinvigorate their whole division with this match.
Got a bunch of workhorses
and it's thrown to the side. It's a nothing match. The commentary doesn't help either. All due respect to Kurt Hennig, he doesn't help with this match. And it's just a big disappointment. Like I said, first women's elimination match since we had the first pay-per-view of Survivor Series.
I mean, they
And
had
flops.
Katrina Sorry in that match, and she was
Mhm.
she was one of the hottest high flyers at that time, and they barely used her in it.
And
They
it was a showcase for Aja Kong, and we were thinking we're going to get Aja Kong a Lunder Blaze, and that didn't come to be.
Aja ends up winning the match. You see nothing of her.
Nothing of her. Gone.
Because she bloodied somebody on an episode of Raw, and Vince was like, nope, scrapping the division.
Mhm.
And, yeah.
And then shortly thereafter, Medusa's in WCW dropping the belt in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I completely forgot about that match, so let's put that in honorable mention.
Okay, cool.
All right, so now for number 3, James already brought it up, although it's specifically Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose in the finals of the title tournament from 2015. Yeah, I'm with you. This whole show should have just been the tournament and the Undertaker stuff, and it would have been a much better show. Because, 2015 Survivor Series as a whole, not that good of a show. Not the worst Survivor Series. 1999. But, it should have been the whole tournament with the Undertaker stuff. And the match with Roman and Dean, it was okay, but we know what these two are capable of, and it should have been much better. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, WWE thought, okay, since Daniel Bryan's no longer inside and Seth Rollins is out, let's push Roman again. Problem was, Ambrose got more over than Roman, and they didn't, and they tease Ambrose for some reason again winning the title, and he doesn't get it here, and they give it to Roman, crowd boos, and then the cash-in from Sheamus didn't help at all either. I love Sheamus, but for fuck's sake. Just moving on, James.
Moving on.
My number 3 is WWF going away from the original concept in 1992. You had the all-elimination match concept for the first few years, and then in 1992, they just make it a regular pay-per-view. Yes, you technically had one elimination match, but it was a 4-on-4, and they used 87 10-on-10 rules. So it was there, but not really. It just felt like a regular pay-per-view, and it didn't do well. They tried to go back to the original concept a year later, but nobody fucking cared after that. Yes, you had a really good main event in 92, but just the fact of going away from the concept of the Survivor Series in 92 is just terrible.
Yep. Walter?
My number 3 is Survivor Series 1999. Fuck that whole show. Fuck the whole show.
Not
just the main event. The whole show. I mean, you started off with it was a lackluster tag team Survivor Series match. It was the APA and the Dudleys against, was it D'Lo and Godfather and I can't remember.
I think the Headbangers.
The Headbangers. Then you have a weird throwaway one with a bunch of heels and faces, Gangrel and Val
Venus.
Fucking Motley Crue.
The Motley Crue match against Bulldog and the Mean Street Posse.
Because that makes sense.
And then you have a 2-minute women's Survivor Series match because it's one
worst match in Survivor Series history, arguably.
You have a Kane and X-Pac disappointing match for a few
more an angle enhancer for the cage match next month.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, yeah. The Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian versus the Hollies and
Too Cool.
Too Cool. Thank you. You figured that'd be kind of good. No, that was disappointing as well.
The only redeeming thing about that show was China Chris Jericho.
You had Big Show squashing Boss Man's entire team.
Boss Man and his was a Boss Man, Albert,
Viscera and Midian.
Yeah, it was a strong night for
Big Show. Yeah.
That was about it. I mean, of course, as James mentioned earlier, the throwaway the bait and switch on the main event, which was really disappointing too. Cool happy for Big Show. He got out of a shitty angle with Boss Man and got into the world title picture.
Which they should have just saved to the next night.
And
They should
honestly,
just say that next night on Raw.
I could be wrong, but I'm trying to think. I think he was the first WCW jump over to win the world title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said China and
Jericho. That would, to me, that was the only thing good about that whole show.
I barely remember it, but still, the whole I thought it was one of the most disappointing Survivor Series ever, top to bottom.
And as I will still, it's a hill I'll die on. I will say 99 is the worst Survivor Series of all time. So there you go, Scott.
My number 3 is right along the same line. It's just Big Show being put in that main event on 99. Yeah, but like Walter said, just the overall show itself, and you just said, disappointing Survivor Series. It's not the worst Survivor Series on record. That's my number 2. But yeah, it's definitely up there as one of the worst Survivor Series of all time. And Big Show, like I said, have him do the thing with Boss Man, roll through that team, good. Now he's established as a singles monster. Wait till the next night on Raw to start putting him into some kind of world title thing instead of trying to smash him over with the bait and switch main event twist there in the chain. Wait another night and then start it from there. But, hindsight.
Which brings me to my number 2, which the bait and switch triple threat with Triple H, Rock, and Big Show. Again, to kind of carry on with what you guys said, yeah, you advertise Austin's going to be in the match, even though they knew full well he was not going to be in it. And I think, like I said, I think the last time we've seen a bait and switch in WWE was Bray and Orton at Backlash 2016, I think it was. It was one of those SmackDown shows. It was either Backlash or No Mercy. I'm pretty sure it was Backlash. But
Whichever.
I digress. But the other part about it that disappoints me about this match, if you're going to have somebody replace Austin, you picked the wrong guy. No disrespect to Big Show, but if you're going to replace somebody, but if you're going to have another guy in the match, should have been fucking Test, and he should have won the belt, because he was super over at this point. Arguably the 4th best babyface in the company.
That Battle Royal, no, the Immunity Battle Royal. That was later.
2 years later,
also,
yeah.
Show featured a disappointing Kurt Angle debut. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like I look back at this. Test was red hot during this time. The 4th babyface in the company behind Austin, Rock, and Foley, super over with the crowd, done his thing with Stephanie, and they could have, easily had Test win this match, and then the next month, instead of Vince Triple H in the No Holds Barred, Test Triple H for the title, and then Triple H could have got the belt back on that night and done the Stephanie turn there. And it would have made just as much sense as when she turned on Vince, because, the angle with Test and Stephanie.
He was also really green at that point, so maybe Vince and Pritchard didn't think he was ready.
But still, strike when you got something there,
Yeah, because he just came off the hot feud with Shane.
Exactly.
And he was about ready to kayfabe marry the boss's daughter, like a week after that.
Exactly. Would have helped further enhance that story.
And Vince was the one who count the 3.
Yep. So much they could have done if they had Test in the match and win the belt.
Test wasn't even on the show, I think.
No,
he was just backstage, involved with the Austin thing and the locker room with the McMahons. That was it. He wasn't even on the card.
Right.
So
I can see you're coming there. That probably would have worked, but yeah, fuck that whole show.
Yeah, bottom line is fuck 1999 Survivor Series. Anyways.
1999 in general with wrestling. I would WWE.
99, it's like James brought up in his From the Vault episodes on some of the shows in 99 for WWF. This is proof that when you're white hot, you can do anything and get the fuck away with it. Because Royal Rumble was not that good in 99. WrestleMania 15 was bad. SummerSlam was middle of the road. This show, Survivor Series, sucked. Really, the B shows, all Big Four pay-per-views. King of the Ring was even mad that year, too.
Billy Gunn won King of the Ring.
Yeah, it's like
And that was
really
the
the
handicap
B.
ladder match.
Yeah, really the B pay-per-views, except for Armageddon and maybe No Mercy. Well, no, not No Mercy, and maybe Unforgiven. The B pay-per-views were actually good shows in '99. Valentine's Day, Backlash. Well, Over the Edge, we don't talk about that. Fully Loaded was good. No Mercy was really good. Like, the B shows flourished for the most part, but the other 5 big pay-per-views, the big 5, tanked. But again, it's proof that when you're white hot, you can do anything and get the fuck away with it. But I digress. James?
Right.
My number 2 is Survivor Series 1991 in general. You sacrificed that entire show to advertise this Tuesday in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
What more do I have to say?
Mm-hmm.
Walter?
My number 2 is something that James already mentioned prior. It is not the card itself, because it had a great main event and some of the matches on there were still pretty decent, but Survivor Series 1992. As a 13-year-old kid, I was like, what the fuck is going on here when it was listed as a regular card? It's a good show and I'll still watch it nowadays, but when I was 13, that was the first that killed my WWE pay-per-view streak. I did not get that pay-per-view because I really wasn't that interested. I wanted a Survivor Series show. So, yeah, as a kid, that right there is my as a kid, that's my top disappointing moment for Survivor Series, was that pay-per-view. Looking back on it, though, and I remember I borrowed it from a friend about a week or so after it happened, so I was going to watch it anyways. And I did like the show. I did. I mean, but I hated the fact that there was one Survivor Series match and it really wasn't that good to begin with. Thankfully, overall as a show, it was pretty decent. You had a great main event with Shawn and Brett, and even Perfect and was it Perfect and
Savage versus Razor and Flair.
That was a decent match too. Plus, High Energy and the Head Shrinkers was a solid match, and there was another match in there too that I thought I liked. I mean, but overall, as a kid, I was really upset.
The first casket match on television.
Kamala and Taker.
Yep.
But that moment, the fact that they were not doing the traditional matches, save for one, as a kid, really killed my interest in seeing that show. Back then.
Yeah. And correction from Zach, Double Z TV. First time I've seen him in chat in a while. He corrected me. The last bait and switch we got was Sasha Bianca at SummerSlam this year. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow, all those years ago. We forgot all about it already.
Forgot about that.
Months.
All those days and weeks ago. It tells you how much it's hard to keep track of it. Yeah, Bianca got buried. Okay. I think she's doing fine now.
WWE bullshit.
AEW.
You get used better.
Stupid.
Like John Spears and Jake Hager, they had great, and FTR, great runs in AEW.
Huge, man.
Fantastic.
The grass is greener.
Don't mess with Hook.
And don't mess with Hook.
Scott.
My number 2, I think James mentioned this maybe, and it's Survivor Series 2013 Big Show RKO main event. I mean, the overall show is not that great to begin with. Total Divas versus True Divas. Did I say more? But it's the worst Survivor Series pay-per-view. Why? Because this is the Survivor Series with the lowest pay-per-view buy rate in history. Doesn't even break 100,000. Doesn't even break 100,000 buys.
Taking the outro route.
Yeah. So
the only good match on the show was the opener, which was really fucking good. I'm trying to remember who was on Team Mysterio. I think it was Usos and a couple other guys against the Shield and the Real Americans.
Yeah. Shield, Real Americans against Cody, Goldust, Ray, and the Usos.
And that was a damn good match. 2013. Where Roman went on a tear in that match. But yeah, then after that,
Iggy and Curtis, Mark Henry and Ryback, Cena and Alberto, Punk and Bryan against the Wyatt family, good, and then Orton Big Show, nobody cares. Horrible.
And
nobody wanted that match.
To correct you, Survivor Series 2013, 179,000 buys.
That's what I saw. I saw 98,000.
No.
178? Give
I can only
yourself
go by the internet and
a
something new, so I think it's debatable.
Well,
We're not taking the cuts. From the website I looked at that said the 98,000 pay-per-view buys. So,
and now time for number one. Now this, some people are gonna think I'm gonna be fucking insane, but then again, I've been insane my whole entire life.
I think I know what he's gonna say.
And it goes back to the point I was talking about earlier with Austin and Triple H of how we've seen amazing matches. Why would I want just a good match? Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, 1997.
Yeah, but
and this match is like a double-edged sword to me because it's like the match itself was still really good, but again, it goes back to the point. You had amazing matches before. Why would you want to go from an amazing match to a really good one? Doesn't and also on top of that, and on top of that,
they were trying to tell.
Yeah,
and on top of that, yeah, it was like, and then of course the finish, the screw job. We all know about that, but I mean, and this is what makes it a double-edged sword for me because it's like on one hand you're disappointed because you wanted a straight-up ending between these two, especially for kids during this time. But in hindsight, look what happened afterwards, with WWF stepping up their game right after this.
But I really don't remember people going on the internet and just freaking out over. They were freaking out, but they weren't over what happened. They never saw anything like that ever happen, though.
Yeah.
But
it's your top 10. So that's your number one disappointment. Then that's your number one disappointment. And that's way.
James?
Mm-hmm.
My number one is how WWE treats Survivor Series in general. Survivor Series is the second oldest pay-per-view to WrestleMania, and they treat it like it's fucking nothing.
Show. It's a throwaway show to them.
And let's not forget, they almost took it off the schedule in 2010.
Yeah. Early 2010, they canceled it, and it took fan support to be like, okay, we're going to bring it back. But from sacrificing it in 91 to taking the concept away in 92, moving it out of Thanksgiving Eve, to just maybe having one elimination match a year, canceling it, and now just, we're going to announce all the matches on Twitter.
And not to mention, 2009, you're doing essentially a Survivor Series match on a different pay-per-view a few weeks before.
And Royal Rumble's in a stadium. WrestleMania's in a stadium. SummerSlam is in a stadium. Money in the Bank is in a fucking stadium. What about Survivor Series?
Nope.
This was the pay-per-view that went head-to-head with Starrcade also.
Right. That's why it was created. Remember, it was created out of spite and business.
To fuck with Starrcade, yep.
To exactly fuck with Starrcade and get all the pay-per-view companies to say, if you don't cover this, you don't get WrestleMania.
I was excited.
Okay, fine.
When they announced the rules, I immediately thought back to, as a kid, Piper, Steamboat, and Jake against Harley, Adonis, and Savage.
Savage, yep.
Yeah, because that was the first time I ever saw or heard of an elimination match. So I'm like, we're going to do a whole show of that.
Walter?
My number one is the debut of the Gobbledygooker.
So's mine.
You know what's ironic? Hold your horses for a second. Arthur Jones said that too in the chat way early, saying biggest disappointment on 1990 was the Gobbledygooker.
Yep.
Well, it's actually not.
Talk about the bait and switch.
My number one. It's not a match. It's not a portion or how somebody. Well, it was how somebody was used, and it's recent. It's last year. The retirement of the Undertaker. They did it during the Thunderdome era with nobody present, and it just felt so half-hearted, like a big long career that started at this pay-per-view. When people bring up 1990, that they don't bring up the Ultimate Survival match. They bring
up Undertaker's debut.
Undertaker's debut. And that's kind of, and it kind of felt like a pretty flat note to end it on. So
I would agree with you on that.
yeah, I'm kind of hoping that it's going to seem weird, but if they try to do it again, I think if they do it again, it'll be officially sealed and dealed properly when he goes into the Hall of Fame, because we're going to have fans at the Hall of Fame.
They have to do it at WrestleMania next year.
At WrestleMania now, because Survivor Series is a Taker associated pay-per-view, but now WrestleMania also is. Actually, WrestleMania has superseded Survivor Series.
I would,
yeah, as a Taker based pay-per-view.
Because next year it's in Texas, so
yeah. So hopefully
they do the big final thing there.
Eliminate this, because this was my biggest disappointing moment for me, because I was kind of looking forward to it, but then also when they announced it, I'm like, but it's going to be in front of nobody.
Yeah,
it's going to be around. It's going to be the Thunderdome crowd, you know.
And honestly, I had been burned so many times, I thought somebody was going to run in and attack him. So I could not get into the moment. I could not. I was like trying to, but the back of my head was like, I think something's going to happen. I think something's going to happen. I think something's going to happen. And then it was over. I'm like, oh, that was it?
Yep.
Okay. Whatever.
Scott?
And yes, my number one is the debut of the Gobbledygooker in 1990, legitimately. Because, I'm not kidding, I was there in real time. I'm the old fuck here, okay? I remember this build-up. I remember all about hearing about the fucking egg and what was going to come out of that thing. There was going to be like a Sports Illustrated supermodel coming out of that thing. A fucking football team was going to come out of that thing. All this build-up. The Undertaker has famously talked about he thought he was going to come out of the egg and become Eggman. So it was all these big build-up to this thing. I think the egg is going to hatch. And out comes that? This? And the whole fucking crowd immediately shits all over it.
Except for maybe the petty cheers from people who were like, "If we cheer, will you please stop?"
Look at the kids are loving the Gobbledygooker.
Oh my god!
Just absolute waste of energy, a waste of time. And God bless Hector Guerrero if he had to get a spot. This is what he's known for, folks. Not for TNA and not for whatever else he's done.
Lasertron.
He's known forever as the Gobbledygooker. Him rolling around with Mean Gene and just dragging the thing out in the ring too, like all these stupid lucha rolls. It's like a training class for wrestlers nowadays. And just at that time, this was like the real big. I mean, you could almost say I think the wrestling recession starts here because after this, it's like trust in the audience's trust in WWF severely takes a big dive at that time. Yeah.
Oh God, Zach in the comments. Zach in the
Gobbledygooker.
Zach also featured on the poster. I remember on the poster in the corner
was the egg.
Also, finally, the hatching of the egg.
Yep.
You couldn't really go anywhere because you could hop over to the other show and watch Sting. I have come for you with my black tigers.
But
remember,
yeah, that's funny.
1986.
California. In 86, Sting. I'm also Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget.
But Zach just said. But yeah, Zach in the comments just asked, "Has anybody cooked the Gobbledygooker yet for Thanksgiving dinner?"
Came back at WrestleMania 17. Remember, he's in the Battle Royal.
But I will say,
24/7 champion.
I will say this,
24/7 champion. That's right, 24/7 champion.
Didn't he? I believe he won it last year at the Survivor Series.
Yes, he did. I mentioned. I forgot that.
I will say this though.
In 1990, you know where the only place you could have went at that time was All Japan Pro Wrestling to watch Jumbo and Tenryu go at it, or Misawa and Jumbo go at it. That was the best stuff. We had this.
I will say this though, given the context of an egg about to hatch, I am thinking in hindsight, what the fuck else were we going to expect other than this? Given the context.
With huge boobs.
You weren't born, Levi. You're like,
you weren't here yet, dude. You weren't there. You had to be there. If you were there, you would have known.
They started plugging the eggs shortly after SummerSlam. That's how long this went on.
It was a big, long, drawn out thing. I was 15 at the time, dude. So it's like I'm in my, I'm in the middle area there where I'm not believing what I'm seeing on TV anymore. Yeah, Ric Flair's going to come out of the egg. Exactly. Sting's going to come out.
What did you think?
Terry Funk comes out of the egg. Did you think it was gonna be somebody else? Gobbity fucking gook, bitch.
Clip that.
Yes.
Clip that, please.
I wonder who's was it Vince? Was it Patterson?
Yeah, it just has to be Vince.
Patterson, her idea, to have this thing dance around at the house shows with the kids. That was going to be the point of it, to go around, so the kids to go see the Gooker. That was their thought process. That was their reason for doing this.
And the Gooker made one appearance after this, and he was gone until WrestleMania 17.
Yep.
He did a segment with Coco Beware over ice cream bars. I remember that.
That was it.
He did a backstage segment. Yeah, they were like,
Gobbledygoo. Don't tell me you're the gobbledygooker.
Let's have some Coco Beware WWF ice cream balls, huh, Frankie?
That was the Miss Feud in 2003, Eddie and the Gobbledygooker.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways, time to make the final 10.
Guerrero pulls off the mask. It's Hector. Orale ese! What the hell you doing, man? What you dressed like a chicken for, man? What the fuck?
Oh, God.
Okay, hold on. Time the fuck out. Why comes after X before Z? Why did Los Guerreros never use that in one of their vignettes?
Oh my God, you're right. What? You know what's gonna happen?
That's my most disappointing moment in Survivor Series history. That the Los Guerreros did not utilize the gobbledygook in one of their vignettes. Pay tribute to your brother and your uncle, goddammit.
Have Bobby Lashley choke out Dominic, because technically he's a Guerrero, and MVP stuffs him in the gobbledygooker soup. That officially makes him turn heel on Ray.
Hold on. Can we get Shaw Guerrero to do a sexy striptease out of the gobbledygooker outfit?
Yes.
Please. She does burlesque shows now. Can we do that, please? You're welcome.
We're gonna have to donate money to hire her, but
yes.
Why did Vicky dress up as the gobbledygooker as like the Divas gang up on her and they put her as gobbledygooker?
Maurice dressed up as the gobbledygooker once.
Did she?
Yeah.
She did? I forgot that. Wow. There was okay, Levi, whatever you're doing, stop. It does not look good. It does not look good.
What the hell?
Levi, what are you doing?
Jesus. All I saw was a head going up and down, and I did not like what I was looking at.
You're gonna get us kicked off of YouTube.
Yeah, dude, click that. Click that, please. Stop it! You're doing it again!
Stop it! Stop
God damn! You're gonna give it a fucking blowjob to your desk, motherfucker!
Oh no!
Gobbledygook your fucking balls, bitch!
Anyway, our combined top 10.
Oh God, I'm laughing so hard I'm drooling.
How the hell are we gonna get a combined top 10 out of ours?
Oh no!
All right, number one's gobbledygook because I just made that one.
By the way, Zach, no, I'm not fucking the genius. Okay, I'm not flexible enough to be able to do that. Oh my God! I'll just let you guys come up with the 10 because I'm just out of it at this point.
Line.
Fine. Right. So number one's gobbledygooker. Absolutely. No, I'm kidding.
Fuck it.
No, it's not going to be number one. Number one should be 1999, just then in general then. Because I think we all had that on our list.
We all had something to do with 99 as well as 91.
Okay, so 91, 99, 91. All right. 2017, several of us had that one. Fucking Levi is done. God damn.
Both Walter and I had 92 on ours.
All right, I'll throw that down.
Yep.
Let's see.
We all kind of had 99.
Yeah.
Well, that's number one. Number 99 is number one.
Okay.
All right, 2017. That's third. 2000. We put. I'm only looking at my list. I don't remember all your guys' lists. I mean, I know there's others. Jesus Christ! What the fuck did we do to Levi tonight?
He's broken!
Yeah, right. Levi's broken tonight.
Zach in the chat just said, I had a nightmare about the gooker. He came down my chimney and ate me for Thanksgiving.
Coming for revenge, bitch.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Surprise, motherfucker! Some lies, motherfucker. Should we even bother trying to do a compilated top 10 here? We're not going to get
because Levi's dead.
Oh yeah, so we're just going to say though, combined, we feel that Survivor Series 1999 is the most disappointing Survivor Series in history.
Followed by 91 and 92.
91, 92, and 2017. We'll just say that. And then 2006.
And pretty much just how WWE treats Survivor Series in general.
In general, yes. Oh my god.
And P.S. Fuck the gobbledygooker.
Yes. Yes.
And Levi's dead. So, anyway, got any...
So Full Gear's going on. We have any updates on what happens on Full Gear right now? Spoilers, please.
Let's see.
Walter, you're frozen? I'm talking to you.
I'm sorry, I was looking at something.
Okay.
What was your question?
You got any updates on Full Gear? What's happening there? Any live updates? Any spoilers?
MJF and Darby was pretty good. That's pretty much all I heard. Darby went up with a coffin drop.
Okay.
I would never imagine taking how stiff that is.
Oh, fuck that. No. Well, I mean, he's 120 pounds soaking wet, so it can't hurt that much.
But he also puts all 120.
Oh my god.
Did you ever see his suicide dives? They look like they fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Stiff.
Stiff as shit, man.
He's got a bone, those shoulder blades coming right down on your face.
Mm.
Punk was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Nah.
Yeah, fuck that kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
He did have the most brilliant, defense to it. Just sit up.
Just sit up.
Who else has this feeling that Kenny and Hangman's gonna go an hour draw?
God.
And they're not gonna put the belt on him.
I haven't contemplated that. I had said initially that Paige was not going to win it, but just the way they're building up, it seems like it's going in that direction that he is actually going to win it. And if they don't do it, I think their fans are going to be really fucking pissed.
Oh yeah,
not in a good way. Not in a good way.
AEW fans make excuses for AEW all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
In general, wrestling fans, those who follow and understand, watch both and don't fucking buy into the loyalty shit, they'll be pissed. While the stands who just watch AEW are be like, well, no, it's long-term storytelling. We've been at this for 2 years now.
And it's like if Hangman doesn't win here, he's not winning the belt.
No, yeah.
God, Levi.
Did it again. Down goes Frazier.
Down goes Levi. He dead. He dead.
He dead, man. He dead, boy. Okay, once again, doesn't look good, Levi. Stop.
Levi, you're gonna get us kicked off Twitch as well.
Yep. TOS.
Dude.
Scott,
Dude.
I found this picture on Facebook. It's supposed to be it's Rodney Dangerfield over James Hetfield's head. And Rodney James Hetfield.
That is brilliant.
Well, no, I posted it. It looks like fucking Skip. It looks like Skip Novak.
Oh, I gotta look at this. Excuse me a moment. Did you put it on Facebook?
Yes, yeah.
Oh God, I gotta see this.
Right on my wall.
By the way, I went on that little tirade because Zach decided to comment, people are watching AEW Full Boner right now?
Full Boner?
Full Boner. Oh my God, that is Skip. Holy shit. Daniel Volpe already laughed at it.
Oh my god,
That is scary.
and then Zach in the chat. If Levi starts humping his bed, I'm going to therapy. I was just about to do that if you know what I'm saying.
Therapy.
Don't you start. I'm quitting if you do that. Think about balls and going home.
We will start Shadow Cult 2.0.
Oh, James gonna have a new fluorescent tie-dye display there.
And
He's
by the way,
going Dude
Levi,
Love.
best well in your future endeavors.
Yes.
Hey, if the Shadow Cult's going down, I'm
Sure,
taking
kid.
it with me.
I'm sorry, kid. No, it's just a budget thing.
Oh god. What has happened tonight?
Anyway.
Any other topics from the world of wrestling?
I haven't heard any that I'm.
I haven't
really
heard
offended
anything either.
We didn't have any more releases, from what I understand.
Thankfully.
Yeah, AEW Full Gear is going on. Survivor Series is next week. It is on Sunday, correct? It's not Saturday?
Next Sunday.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. That somebody told me it was on Saturday. I was like, Saturday stuff happens next year, I think.
Yep.
Which is really going to change scheduling stuff around.
Yeah.
Oh, what about apparently Keith Lee went on a rant on social media this week?
Keith Lee claims that WWE did not pay for his medical bills when he had COVID, and because he had he had some bad after effects. And WWE came forward and basically said, "Bullshit, we did pay for his bills." And I know everybody jumped on board because everybody likes Keith Lee and everybody hates WWE, but WWE has a documented history of paying for talents.
Look at Paul Bearer. Look at Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
When they signed him for a new contract at the end of 2003, Vince added a bonus to cover a surgery, the bypass surgery.
Bypass surgery, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, yeah, just based off of that, I believe WWE pays for medical bills for their wrestlers when they're in serious jeopardy like that. So, anytime a wrestler says they don't, bullshit, you're a fucking liar.
Mm.
When Jake Atlas got released, he said, I'm disappointed, but at the same time, I'm still thankful for what the company did for me because he was going through a lot of mental issues, and they paid for his treatment.
How many wrestlers has WWE sent through rehab and paid for it? How many fucking times has Scott Hall gone through?
Many
just
times.
name Scott Hall millions of times going through. Sonny, for fuck's sake, that they pay for. Jake. So don't tell me.
Non-contracted talent they paid for.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sure it hasn't been disclosed. I would not be surprised if Vince contributed something to Moxley's rehab right now.
Possible.
It would not surprise me at all.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure AEW tried footing the bill, but I'm pretty sure Vince called Tony and said, "I'll help you with this." You know, he's my boy too. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tony's bragging about paying for everything, like how he paid for the women for the NWA All Women show and all that stuff. Like,
yeah, look at me. It's all about me. He
cut off the person's question, and it's like, wait, it's me. I did it. It's all me.
DDP.
And then he later apologized for how he acted. It's like, no, you're apologizing because people fucking called you out for it.
Yeah.
What was this?
Tony Khan during the media call, and somebody was asking a question about the NWA women's show or whatever, and cut off the person asking the question, and it's like taking credit for certain shit, and it's like,
I think it's starting to get to him. I think he's starting to crack. I think he's finally starting to realize that owning a wrestling promotion is not as fun as he thought it was going to be.
Starting? It started a while ago.
The talent might be having fun, but he's probably. I can assure you, he's getting talking to from TNT executives. He's getting called. He's getting pulled into the office.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why? Yeah.
Why isn't this person on our TV? Why is this guy on TV? What is going on with this person? Why do you have all these people backstage where they're not working?
Yep. Why are our ratings below 1.0 consistent?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Why is Rampage only drawing a 0.5? or worse, or 0.6.
Yep.
Yeah, with
Yep.
CM Punk on there as a headliner almost every week.
I'd like to know what's in the contract that they expecting their show to hit for a week, because that is part of the deal. Usually, when you have a contract with TV, you're expected to hit a certain percentage point. I'd like to know what TNT think it has in their contract to say this is where you're supposed to be doing. Because remember, back in the day, like I think it was TNA was supposed to be getting they only pooped at a 1.0 pretty much when Hogan and Bischoff came in, but it was like they wanted them at like 0.8 or something like that, but they were
At the
just
very
barely
least.
hitting that. So,
Well,
Mhm.
a lot of the stands are saying it'll get better when they go to TBS. Will it?
Will it?
No.
No. And people want to say, well, the ratings are down because it's not airing on the West Coast and this stuff and that and blah.
Meltzer is the king of excuses. And actually, he's getting to the point where Meltzer says he has no excuse now. He's like, I really can't find a reasoning as to why this happened. He did say that a few weeks ago.
Meltzer
Terrible.
says something smart for once?
He said, I really have. They really weren't up against any major sporting event. I really can't find a reason why the ratings declined this week.
you don't have a good product. It's that simple.
It's because a niche product is not going to do well on a national
Nope.
level. Never does.
Look at
Mhm.
ECW.
It's a niche of a niche.
Niche of a 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 niche.
Of a bitch, of a
Getting
niche, of
smaller
a
and smaller.
snitch.
What a bitch that niche is, because that stitch and bitch for that niche is a witch. I guess it's on Twitch, but it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The wrestling population that gives a shit, and it's not going to be anything to. It's going to be virtually inoperable in about 2 years.
They heckle and laugh at WWE. I mean, WWE. Yeah, sure, they're drawing a 2.0, but it's still beating the shit out of all the other shows.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You can heckle and laugh. When they go from a 2.0 to a 1.7, okay, sure, yeah, they had a little bit of drop there. Meanwhile, the promotion that's supposedly the refreshing alternative, the better product, can barely hit a 1.0 now, barely. And they're losing. And then they started doing the demographic angle, and they started losing in that. And now Tony is getting it like pinpoint. Oh well, the CM Punk segment really beat SmackDown segment here, or our women's match beat out their women's match for the first 5 minutes. Seriously,
Any little detail.
And all these acquisitions, it's going to take 5 years for numbers to start growing more.
Of course.
And that's everyone's saying. Well, they're a new company. You got to give them time. Yeah.
No.
They're a new company, but they have a huge, gigantic budget and payroll. They are on a national level. They're not starting out small. They have the full support of a big ass network behind them. Sorry, you're right in the fight. There's no time to wait and build.
No,
okay,
there's not.
everyone's supposed to be prepared for the WWE product. Why aren't you guys all jumping over?
Mm-hmm.
It's baptism by fire.
They have
Mm-hmm.
aside from Punk and maybe Daniel Bryan, they have no real star power. Kenny Omega is not a star.
No.
He is a star on the
maybe in Japan. Maybe in Japan he is.
Yeah, maybe
But
in
not
Japan,
here in the States.
Jericho's not as big as he once was, only his waist size.
Yep. Nice.
JR and Shivani are relics of the past.
Yep, they're no good. Excalibur talks way over the people's heads. He's not ingratiating himself to the audience.
Yep.
There's potential there. There's so much great talent, but there's so much great talent in WWE too that is not getting utilized properly. Same thing with AEW. They have too many talents there. Too many roster members.
Time to use them.
Less time to use them, and no, giving them a third hour is not going to help. Giving them another show is not going to help. So there really needs, I'm sorry, but people out there, you have to understand, they're bloated. Rosters are a major factor here. You can't care about 200 people every week. It's not possible. So you know what? WWE, they've had all these releases. There may be more. And AEW, you may have to start doing the same thing.
Yep. And everyone starts shitting on AEW when they start cutting the talent.
Mm-hmm.
AEW, of course, everyone's like, AEW's got, well, they got the 2 YouTube shows. Those count. Those YouTube shows are there's nothing but squash matches, and they do nothing on those shows to further the stories. They're basically commercials.
Yep.
Dark and Elevation are basically commercials to watch Dynamite and Rampage. And everyone, just wait until the 3rd hour show starts. Just wait until CM Punk arrives. Someone even said to me, I think it was my buddy AJ, and I love AJ, but he said, wait till the trios tag titles.
Does nothing.
No.
When was the last time anyone gave a shit about 6-man tag belts?
1987 NWA.
If that.
If that, yeah.
They gave a shit when the Road Warriors and Dusty had it, and once they got off, nobody cared.
It was those 3 of the 2 Russian assassins and Ivan Koloff. Those are the only 2 teams that have the 6-man title.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but it works in Mexico. Sure, in Mexico.
But not here in the States.
No.
They want they want to cater to Mr. and Mrs. Walmart, but they're trying to present a smart market product.
Yeah. Which Mr. and Mrs. Walmart don't understand, don't want, and will never get into.
Yeah.
And hell, they don't even want to cater to Mr. and Mrs. Walmart.
No, they're going
They
for their
flat out said, we're not looking for the casuals. We are looking for the hardcores.
the diehard
But people be amazed how small the hardcore audience is.
Exactly.
It's
There's
not
a
that
bigger
big.
casual audience than there'll ever be hardcore audience.
I can assure you, and as much as I love Adam Cole, when he came out at All In, or was it All Out, or whatever? When he arrived, I can absolutely assure you there was a good amount of people at home, and probably some in the audience saying, "Who's that?
Who's this guy?
Right.
Who's that?"
I don't know.
Fans who do not watch NXT, fans who do not have Peacock or anything like that, fans who do not follow Ring of Honor. Who's that?
I don't know. They don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They'll know who Kevin Owens is if he ends up going over there. But really, how much is Owens going to move the needle?
Nothing.
A little bump and then right back to normal.
Right.
Just like
Yep.
Punk and DB gave you a little boop.
Give you a little buzz, and then
And
it
Punk
cooled off.
was the big one. Punk was like the get.
Bryan and Omega had a great match. There is absolutely no denying that. The 30-minute draw was good, real good. Punk has been having good matches, but it's still just not. It's not doing it.
It's not hitting. It's not.
equivalent.
And I'm about to drop a controversial, unpopular opinion here. But if Punk had gone back to WWE, he would have been utilized better in WWE than he is in AEW.
Mm.
I'm going to say it right there. Because given AEW's history of... Given what AEW's done in recent history with getting guys and not knowing what to do, like Malachi Black, what the fuck are they doing with him?
He's buddies with Andrade now. They're like the Riddler and the Penguin.
Like that's gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
It's Cody and Neville or Pac, excuse me. What an odd pairing that is.
That just makes
Against Malachi Black and Andrade.
Pac.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bastard.
Oh, and Cody's whole "I'm never turning heel." Like,
See,
You have-
brilliant thing
he has
behind
go away heat.
the brilliant
Yeah.
behind it is have him do heel shit and be a heel, but keep talking like that. That's where it would work.
Mm-hmm.
Justification for everything he does, but do it as like a condescending baby face. Act like make him. He acts like people give a shit. He acts like people watch Roads to the Top. That him and Brandy are being brain dead to the crowd's reception is what would make that work.
So basically you'd make him into Bo Dallas.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Bo Dallas in NXT.
Or Jericho during his third return. Was it? Didn't Jericho?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, in 2012.
Yeah.
Something like that.
The 1-2-12. The end of the world as you know it is here. And it's just
Jericho.
weeks of him just...
Baby!
Yeah, that was it. But then again, I can't stand Cody Rhodes, so I don't give a fuck what happens with him.
I miss the Adam Cole from NXT. You had somebody who was a
Yeah.
competitor, a champion. When Adam
The
Cole,
leader of a group, and now
top
he's just
A top guy.
a fucking
Now
role
he's a
player
lackey.
in the elite.
He's a lackey.
Total lackey.
and it's disappointing. I know everyone's going to think he's going to break away from the elite and join up with Fish and eventually O'Reilly. I'm like, and everyone's like, "Oh, isn't that awesome?" I'm like, yeah, great. Another freaking feud war. Scott and I went over another stable war. Scott and I went over how many stables are in AEW. What do we
And plus,
17.
they're using guys from the promotion of the show that they beat.
Yeah.
And you expect ratings to go up?
Right? And on top of that, hearing that they have a lot of factions, this makes Gang Wars in 97 look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought I would say that.
Between like tag team groups and factions, there's like 17 in AEW that we counted. And who knows, we may have missed a couple.
And the other thing too is like, and a lot of the AEW stands will explain this. Like some certain storylines and such, like certain things will happen, and I'm like, I really don't get that. Why are they doing that? And someone will tell me, well, you got to watch Being the Elite because on episode 303 of I don't want to fucking watch Being the Elite.
No,
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
Explain on the show itself. Who are these people? Why are they feuding? Why should we care?
Yes, this is not comic books where you continue a storyline across 5 different titles. It's not. This is not comics. This is TV. All right.
Exactly.
Keep your stories grounded to your television programs, not your spin-offs or anything like that. You know, I know Tony even said, well, yeah, our storylines are going to carry across different mediums. And we're going to talk about possibly having them in comic books, too. No, don't.
Just keep it short, sweet, simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
Mhm.
And it just seems like Tony is just like trying. It's not like he's just throwing everything to the wall and see if it sticks. How many run-ins and beatdowns do you get over the course of an entire episode of Dynamite?
Oh yeah, it's Russo-esque.
It's very like 6 or 7, very Russo-esque. Very.
Levi once again. Find the gimmick.
By the way, guess who just followed my Twitch channel just now, Scott? Burzum. But with 2 M's, not 1, but 2.
2 M. Nice.
Well, let me guess, Varg, if you're watching, what are you disguising
Varg, go fuck
yourself
yourself.
again?
Varg, you
Anyway.
Nazi piece of shit. I hope you die and get cancer.
And don't get me wrong, there's moments of greatness, as Scott and I were talking earlier. The Eddie Kingston CM Punk segments have been great.
Yeah.
But you know what's going to happen? They're going to have their match. Punk will win. They'll make up, and then they'll form a tag team.
Yeah. It'll be pointless after that.
Yeah, it'll be yeah.
What the hell?
But it makes sense because today, Junior.
Because Eddie Kingston was in Ring of Honor at the same time Punk was. Guess what, guys? Not really.
Nope.
Eddie Kingston debuted in 2002 for Chikara. He probably crossed paths with Punk, and maybe when he was like
Very briefly. Yeah. Mhm.
Definitely. But by the time maybe he crossed paths, I know he did go to Ring of Honor. I want to say he was started out there.
It was 04, I think.
06, actually. I think it was 06.
Was it 06?
Yeah.
Well, I think not before he was like full-time member of the roster. I think he just kind of like flowed in with some of the floating talent, maybe around 2004 5. By 6, he was in there, but Punk was gone by then.
Yeah. They may have known each other. Maybe like for different like
They passed each other in different locker rooms, but yeah. You knew Kingston from Chikara. You knew Punk from Ring of Honor. That's what they were always associated with.
And Joe
that was their place.
Joe leave Ring of Honor to go to Impact?
What was that?
When did Joe leave Ring of Honor to go to TNA?
2004, 5. Yep, 5. Yep.
And he's a Chikara guy. That's where he was primarily.
I'm just trying to think who could take over creative for AEW to rein everything in and make it better. Don't say Cornette; he wouldn't do it.
Nobody.
Is there anybody out there nowadays that could be tapped to?
They would have to reset the entire company.
Yeah, something.
Brian Gewirtz.
uh,
Bro.
I don't know. They're really
Any,
really an island unto
any
themselves.
possible options in WWE right now, anyways. Like
I'm also
Pritchard
wondering,
or
WWE
Gabe.
does sell-
Amen.
WWE does sell to a major corporation. Will that major corporation start hiring some of these people back?
Probably not.
You know, Jericho is going to be coming back for at least one more run. That will.
Oh, he will.
Yeah.
At least.
But he has a track record there. He has, he has equity with the company, so he has a history.
He can walk in anytime he wants. There's
Yeah.
Christian
And by
could
the
go
way,
back if he
people,
wanted to.
yeah. And by the way, people, remember when Jericho was on the Austin podcast recently? Both Vince and Tony approved it. There's no real war here, people.
No, there isn't. No.
I'm wondering when Tony's going to tap out though and ask Vince if he'd like to take over.
It wouldn't shock me if that happened in like 2 or 3 years.
I don't
If
think
that.
I don't think Nick Khan will allow Vince to spend that money.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not. Because it's lost my train of thought.
And I don't see Vince scooping up all of their I see him scooping up a handful. If he could take 5 guys from that roster, I bet you it would be MJF, maybe Adam Page,
Yeah.
Powerhouse Hobbs, because that's a Vince guy right there. Wardlow, another Vince guy. And out of the ladies, maybe probably bring Ruby back.
Yeah, Ruby or Thunder Rosa.
Or Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
Thunder Rosa, yeah. I can see Thunder Rosa in shot.
She stands out. She has something special about her.
Her face paint, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but also her whole, just her in general. She's marketable.
Yeah, she is. She is.
But it's like, ugh.
I don't know though.
If Vince was going to hire some people back, I would say number one, Bray Wyatt, bring Bray back. Hello,
Yeah.
Braun, yes, why not? Adam Cole, get him back to being a main event top guy.
Malachi Black.
Aleister Black, bring him back. And if there was one more person, no.
No, never Cody.
Probably Brian.
Yeah, and probably Brian.
So, Brian also has equity. He's sleeping.
Right.
Yeah.
With the daughter of the stepdaughter
Of the head of talent.
The Axeman, yeah.
Yeah. Well, on that note, after we went on another AEW tirade, like we always do.
We always do.
But before we go, a reminder of the upcoming schedule for the rest of the year. So next week, to continue on the Survivor Series theme, the top 10 Survivor Series teams. And then after Thanksgiving, which, good Lord, we're going to be stuffed to our gourd when that day comes. Top 10.
Gore.
But anyways, then we ended the month. Then we end the month with top 10 tag team specialists, and then next month only 3 episodes. Next month, since we'll be taking Christmas off, we are doing ECW December to December 06.
Yay!
Then after that, top 10 oddball tag teams, and then Starrcade 91, the Battle Bowl.
And then we start January. We go overseas to the good old UK for a long discussion of Levi's top 10 favorite Big Daddy Crabtree matches.
Yes. Awesome. Can't wait to hear that list.
Yes.
Big Daddy.
What?
Big Daddy Crabtree, and who was Loch Ness? Who was Loch Ness known back then as?
Giant haystacks.
Giant haystacks.
Oh.
Yep. Just watch Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. You'll see him.
Who's that?
Big Daddy. He's in that.
He is. Who is he?
Bust the deal and face the wheel.
Oh, the pig shit guy.
Spin the wheel, make the deal. Spin the wheel, make. That's where spin the wheel, make the deal came from.
That is where it came from.
Oh man. But anyways,
Boys and girls, dying times here.
But anyways, now time to sign out. So, plug time, James.
You can find me on my YouTube at We Are Pro Wrestling, where I just finished Survivor Series 88 and 89. Next week, I'm going to be talking about 2001. The week after that, 2002. You can follow me on my Twitter at WAPW_wrestling.
Walter?
You can find me on the actually, doesn't Scott go first and then I follow up with the Necro?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, but I'll.
There you go. All right. So, yeah. Huh?
You can find me in Mr.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh? What?
Oh, go ahead.
What? You want? Huh?
Okay.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying, starting with the phone.
Oh.
We're waiting, Walter.
Oh, okay. So I am going. Okay. You can join me and Mr. Scott.
You can find me on my YouTube channel.
Walter's like, why am I friends with these guys?
No, I'm not thinking that. You can join me. Oh, you stop it, damn it.
Okay. See, Levi has to kill the joke.
Well, I didn't get to do it, so there you go.
Join me and Mr. Scott every Monday at Necrocast and talk about Listen Horror Battle. Go.
It's like we couldn't resist, but you just spent.
Your voice cracked. We're the evil corporation.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's Mr. Scott on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Patreon. See you there.
You didn't give me time to cut you off.
I just want to say,
disappointed, folks.
I just want to say, what? Let me tell you just what? What did you say? What?
What?
Jesus Christ, you've got a microphone in your hand. But in all seriousness, Walter.
Seriousness? Fuck you, Ben.
What's serious?
Mommy, stop this ride. I want to get off. Gobbledygook, you fucking jackass.
Whose turn is it?
Now? Can we go now?
Turn still.
He already did it.
What? I didn't hear him.
He did it. Just hit the button. We all want to get home.
Levi,
Hit the button.
come on. Levi, come on.
Okay, now you really sound like
Gobbledygooker was number one, by the way.
YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, ThrashManiac99, Instagram, ThrashManiac_YT. I'm done. Alright, so for the people over on Twitch, join me in a raid. And for everybody on YouTube, I hope we have some sanity back for next week, but I highly fucking doubt it.
Nipples.
Hey, jackass! Would you like to touch my nipples and pinch them until they're rock hard as your cock?
Okay. Good night.